Hey there, LEGO fam. I'm Justin, and you're watching Good Life Bricks. Today I want to talk to you about a set that I really like. It's LEGO Star Wars 75371 Chewbacca. Now, I've told you guys before, if you've seen any of my videos, you know that I am a pretty big fan of Chewbacca. And I was really excited when this set came out. The set was released September 1st of 2023, and it's set to retire December 31st of 2024. This is one of those sets where I think the fan reception hasn't been the best, and I don't completely understand that, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. When it first came out at $199.99, I think folks were excited. Its piece count is 2,319, and it comes with one minifigure. But I think as people picked the set up, they got distracted by what they perceived to be a problem with the build of the face. I don't see that problem personally. I've talked to my wife about it. She says she doesn't really care for the way the face was built. And there are many others who say the same thing. And again, it's an opinion, and so everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I just don't necessarily agree. But I wanted to do this review now after a year and a couple of months, because it is going to retire in about a month from now, or a month and a half from now. And I think this is one of those sets that has come down a little bit in price. You can get it anywhere between $159.99 to $179.99, which I think is a pretty good discount, and it makes it, for those who have been hesitant, I think it makes it a little bit more compelling. I'd hate for people to miss out and then have this retire and the price go up. So let's go through the set a little bit. Let's take a look at the build and some of the cool things that they've done, and you can make up your own mind. Is this a set that you like, or are you going to pass? Before we get started, I do want to ask you to hit the subscribe button so you can continue to get notified of every time I put out new content. And if you like the video, or if you get anything out of it, would you please hit the like button? That'll help YouTube get more of my videos out to more and more people who are interested in LEGO Star Wars. I appreciate you very much. Now, let's dig in. So here again, we're looking at set 75371 Chewbacca. Just going over the details one more time. 2,319 pieces. One minifigure. Bet you'll never guess who. The original retail was $199.99, and it was released on September 1st, 2023, and it is set to retire December 31st of 24, according to the latest news that I've gotten. This is one of those somewhat controversial sets, and a lot of it comes down to the way they designed his head, specifically his face. And I think one of the things that got people a little bit rattled was the deep inset of his eyes. And I don't know, that doesn't bother me. When I look at Chewbacca in the movies, I see that his eyes are fairly deeply inset, probably because it's a real person's eyes underneath the mask, and that mask comes off of the front of the human face, a ways. So to me, this looks about right. It really doesn't bother me. I like what they've done with the mustache and the red piece that looks like a tongue. The fangs. I mean, all of those things I think look great. I think the head shape is right. The way the head sits on the body, the way the beard portion comes down over the front of his body, I think is really good. The way it's more thin on the top and gets wider as it comes down. I think those things are all very good, and I think it looks nice. So to me, the body shape and the shape of the head are not a problem at all. I think they look quite good, in fact. You notice there's a significant amount of two-tone pieces to to show off the fur. And I think that again is a very close recreation from the source material. Chewbacca has a couple different tones of fur throughout, and I thought they did a good job. One of the absolutely spectacular recreations is the famous Chewbacca bowcaster. They did an outstanding job building this weapon and making it look like the source material. And they put a strap on it, which is really cool. Something else that stands out is the bandolier. This is something that Chewie is famous for. He's worn this bandolier in every movie, a slightly different version in the solo movies. But the way they created it, the way they made it look like the source material, like the movies, is fantastic. And it terminates down into this little bag that he wears at the end of the bandolier. So again, I think that's quite good. I really struggle with understanding the criticism that people have made about Chewbacca's face, about the design of the face or the head, or the eyes and the mouth and the nose area. I don't know. Maybe you're seeing it and I'm just not seeing it, but I just think it's really well done. They've done a good job of taking the dark fur, the dark pieces that simulate the fur on the top of his head, and bringing it around the back. He combs his hair and his fur back, and so they did a good job of making that just naturally come back, and they threw a couple tones in. So you see, there is a lot of texture and a lot of shape to his fur throughout the course of his body. And I think another thing that did very, very well was the long fur on his arms that comes down over his hands or his paws. That's something that we see frequently, I think, in the movies. As he picks things up or whatever, you see how long the fur is on his arms and around his hands. So they did a good job of that. The arms don't move; they're stationary. Chewbacca is set in this position, and that's how he's intended to be displayed. Here again, you can see what the different pieces that they use to simulate longer fur. Adds that texture and layering. I think they did a good job. I feel like this gives you a real sense of, you're dealing with a Wookiee here. I mean, he's a furry creature, and I don't think you have to really know much about Chewbacca to understand that from this build. So the other thing that I would say is that this is a really tall Lego. It's over 18 inches tall, which is both good and bad. It's good because that's a lot of Lego, requires a lot of pieces, so outstanding. It's bad because the shelves on my display cases only allow for about 16 inches. So Chewbacca doesn't fit, and my shelves aren't adjustable. So he has to hang out outside, which means he has to get dusted frequently so that he always looks his best. It is a good looking Lego. It is a well done, a well constructed Lego. Look at the details down on his feet, the way they created the toes that match up with what we've seen in the movie, and the way they used the fur pieces to just kind of lay over his feet and even touch the ground. I think the build techniques that they've used throughout here are really quite remarkable. The way that they create texture, the way that they use pieces to kind of go against the grain a little bit so that it stands out like a creature with a lot of fur. And you get that sense, like I said earlier, I think very well. Again, you don't have to know a lot about Chewbacca to look at this build and say, this is a furry creature, whoever he is. And, that's something that he's famous for. So anyway, I am a fan of this build. I think that it's quite good from the head all the way down to his toes. I think they did a good job of the design. I think this is one of those Legos that I would absolutely be bummed if I missed out on. And so as I'm talking to you about this build and the end product here, and as you're looking and seeing the end product, I would highly encourage you, if you're a Chewbacca fan or a Lego Star Wars fan, to pick this up before it retires. The details are tremendous. The texture, like I've said, is tremendous. They didn't leave anything out. They did a really, really nice job. So we also have his plaque and minifigure that comes with the set. The minifigure is the same Chewbacca minifigure that they've used since 2013. In fact, it was released on December 26th, 2013. And I've said this in other videos. Again, Chewbacca is one of my absolute favorite characters from Star Wars. They've done very little to change the minifigure, and it's been 11 years since this version released. No reason to do a lot of changing. It's quite good. I was looking through my collection, and I have about 12 of these guys, and I think he's been in a total of 19 sets since 2013. So there are some sets that I don't have that he's been in. And anyway, the plaque is good. It's not a sticker, it's a printed plaque, which I prefer. It gives you an indication of the details on Chewbacca, his homeworld of Kashyyyk. He was born 200 years before the Battle of Yavin. That's what BBY stands for. He's Wookiee, a male, and he's 2.28 meters tall. I think I read that he's supposed to be in world somewhere between 7.5 and 8 feet tall. He's affiliated with the Rebel Alliance, and he carries around the bowcaster. And they gave him a stud shooting bowcaster for this set, which is kind of cool. So I am a fan of this set. I'll say it again. The build was fun. It is, like I told you with C-3PO, when you have something that has redundancy, 2 arms, 2 legs, you can get caught up doing the same thing over and over several times. And that was true of this set. He's built into the stand, so he's not just going to come off. There's some slack, so he can move around, and his head does rotate a little bit, and it's easier to rotate if his bandelier's not there. But it's very minimal. As you look at the detail, I think this is where this set is so good. So much detail to help you understand exactly what you're looking at. So again, if this is a set that you've been thinking about and just not sure because you've heard some people say some negative things, well, now you've heard me say some positive things, and you're free to make up your own mind. Just remember, it's set to retire. So that's my take on Lego Star Wars set 75371 Chewbacca. I am a fan. I am glad that I have this set in my collection. I am, in general, like I've said before, a pretty big fan of Chewbacca. And so to have a set like this really makes me happy. And this is one of those sets that I keep always visible. In fact, I've said this in the C-3PO and the R2-D2 video, but I keep the 3 of them together on a stand across from my desk so that when I'm sitting working, I look up and I can see them, because I just think all 3 of these builds are probably the best character builds that Lego has ever done. And having them in my collection is just something I'm really happy about. This guy, more so than even the other two, just because of what a big fan I am of Chewbacca. So I encourage you to determine here relatively quickly whether this is a set that you would like to own. And again, I think the deals are better on this set now than when it first came out. When it first came out, it was $199.99, and I believe that it continues to come down in price. And I would encourage you to take a look. I think this is a set that you'll enjoy building and probably really enjoy displaying. You'll have to decide whether you like the look of his head and his face. I do, and I think I might be in the minority on that one. So anyway, I really appreciate you being here and going through this set with me. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. And if you did, I hope you'll hit the like button for me. I also hope you'll hit this little subscribe circle right here and subscribe to my channel so you know about more videos as they come up. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.